Hello, 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 and welcome back to another Melee Warlock playthrough using the sets from the new expansion. Last time we left off, we were able to find the Falim's Eye and complete the Golden Bird quest. As you can see on screen, I've got some goals set up pretty much to try and complete all the quests in this act. If we can, we're going to give it a fair shot anyway. Without further ado, let's hop right into it. So we're going to use the Great Marsh Waypoint. I almost forgot. Last stream, I apologize for the abrupt ending. My computer crashed. I'm having some issues where occasionally, when I'm playing Diablo II Resurrected, my computer crashes. I'm working on fixing the problem, searching for a solution. If you have any ideas or experience with such a thing, leave your ideas in the comments. I unfortunately think it might have something to do with my mods, but I'm not 100% sure on that until I do some further testing. In any case, we were on our way to try and find the Flare dungeon, and that's what we're going to do now. Okay. It looks like the map progress seems to have been reset with the last crash. I'm not sure what that's all about, but that's okay. All right. And turn those volumes down a bit. All right. So as we were talking about before, the maps for the first few areas of Flare Dungeon hold similar patterns. Currently, we're in the Great Marsh, and we're looking to try and find the Flare Jungle, which will contain the Flare Dungeon, and also continue the Gidbin quest. And it should be attached somewhere to the Great Marsh, which we are in right now. We don't necessarily need to kill all the monsters we come across. We are still a bit over-leveled. That will start evening out the later we get into the game, especially once we hit Act 4. We'll probably level up quite a bit in Act 4, actually. Act 5, I mean. Act 4 is pretty short, and then Act 5 tends to have a pretty good experience until you hit around level 45. So, for now, we can start skipping monsters, and we will still be perfectly on track to be proper leveled. First set item of the run. I believe this is another copy of a sword we already have, though. All right, we're going to do a bit of monster skipping to try and find the next area. Unless we get find a good boss pack or we get into a large group. Ow. Another set item already. That's crazy. We don't really find a lot of uniques, but we do sure find a lot of set items, don't we? One more level, and we will be able to hit the next tier of skills in our skill tree. So that'll be a fun time. We should be pretty close to the Flare Dungeon at this, or Flare Jungle at this point. There we go. Okay, so you want to check on both sides of the river for any offshooting areas. There will be one with the waypoint. There will be one that contains both of the quest areas. Or rather is both of the quest areas, both for the Gidbin and for the Flare Dungeon. And then there is one more area that will just be a treasure monster area. So here's the first of the three. We'll see which one it is. Go from there. They're not very big, so they're usually just worth checking out, especially if you're still looking for certain points of interest. And looks like we're already full of loot, so let's go ahead and head back really quick.
Hello. Greetings.
So this is Cleglaw's Tooth, which I believe means we have the full set. We'll check that out here in a minute. Oh, that was worth 15,000, but it's not a big deal. We still have quite a few items to save for selling for later. We have the Eisenheart sword, I believe, and we'll hang on to that for now. And I always hang on to jewels for crafting later. Okay, so I did reorganize my stash a bit. I restored my old stash that I had before with all the different tabs and all my gems and runes. Several gems, got some rejuvenation potions, several runes. And I organized each of these stash tabs. So we've got random junk jewelry and jewels. Then we've got gear for other classes, which we haven't really found a lot. We've got stuff to sell for later, unique items, and set items. As you can see, we already have the Eisenheart sword, so we don't need to hang on to this one, but we don't have the Cleglaw. So that completes the Cleglaw set. Unfortunately, we cannot use the sword because we're using the dagger. So, still cool though. I think what I'm going to do is keep all the loot we find throughout normal, and we'll take stock of what we got at the end of normal, and we'll do the same for nightmare and hell difficulties. So we can sell that, put this in this tab, put our gold away, off the sword, and head out. Oop. So this looks like it might be the waypoint area. The three different maps kind of have similar tiles, each version of the map, but I could be wrong. Ah, look at that. That is the set armor for the Cathan set. Another set item we can't use because we're using the Bane set armor. Okay, so this is just the little antechamber area that has loot. Not a lot, of course, but something. So on we go, looking for the next area. And you want to try to fill out both sides of the river for the most part. Although it looks like the map is the same for before, we just lost the revelation of it. So I know for a fact that this side, at least for a little while, is devoid of any chamber areas or side areas. Ow. What crazy amount of loot we're finding.
Can't carry anymore.
Well, let's go ahead and identify some stuff. That's probably not going to sell for much. 15 poison. It's probably not worth keeping, although we should start checking out. Okay, so that's probably not worth keeping. This is just better than that. So we'll go ahead and drop that and just put this in its place. All right. We can pick up this Chris and this skull. Check out this codex. +3 to sigil lethargy. Now that is pretty good. And it has 2 open sockets. Also has sigil rancor for what it's worth, but I'm really excited about that sigil lethargy. If we can get it to level 10 through plus skills, it will become much larger. Currently it's not too bad of a size. It'll encompass a small group of enemies, but it'll grow in size every 10 levels. So this might be worth keeping. Also, we can make a rune word in it if we get the right runes. There's a couple ones for shields that are 2 sockets. I don't think we have the net runes for them yet, but that will change. We'll hang on to this for now until we find something better. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and equip it now for that bonus. Excuse me. And here's another area. Read a blade warp. Okay, probably sell that for something. That's not going to be worth very much, so we can drop that. Unique broadsword. And just like that, we are full once again of loot, although we can fit that broadsword.
Good evening. Hello.
So yeah, Cathan's armor. We also found Cathan's staff. +1 to fire skills. It's unfortunate that the Act 3 mercenaries can't use a staff, because you could get a fire one and give this to him. We don't need... Oh, that was another 15,000. That's fine. I'll save that. I'll save that. Can sell that off. Save that. Wow, we are just getting all kinds of good money items. We don't need to save every single ring and amulet. It's okay to sell a few off. And this is Griswold's Edge, a callback to the first game. Pretty cool little reference. I believe you could get a Griswold's Edge in the first game by doing a quest for him. All right, back to it. So this is the quest area. You can tell by this, but before I interact with that, I'm actually going to open a portal here and go find the waypoint. Because the Flayer dungeon is a bit tricky to navigate. Once we're done with it, we're not going to want to have to backtrack all the way through it. So if we have the waypoint, we can just skip that headache. Check this side. And if it's not over here, I will hop over the river and check the other side. Okay, so that's the end of that little side path. Now we'll backtrack and fill in this other side to see if it is over here. Yeah, okay. We have big packs like this. I always like to take them out if I have some sort of splash damage, which we have built in with our weave skill, which is pretty cool. Most of the time, melee characters don't get a lot of AoE, with a few exceptions. And there's not a lot left here. It doesn't look like it's going to be here. That's okay. All right, we're going to bypass monsters. Try and find ourselves the waypoint. As you can see, that teleport skill coming in clutch. I heard a gem. Can't skip that up. After all, I'm not much of a loot gremlin if I don't go for shiny. Oh, that's a hard group to pass up. Good stuff. Hop over the river. And here we go. This should be the area with the waypoint. I will run in, grab it, and then I'll run back out and look to do salute. And here we go. So, we'll go fill up on loot from that area. It looks like we got a bunch of cool drops. And then we'll use the waypoint to get back to town. And then use the portal to get back to the quest area. Okay, check out the bone helm, the codex, and the unraveler head, and this gnarled staff. About perfectly fills up my inventory with loot. This gameplay loop of fighting for a bit and then identifying all your loot and then going back is quite a hook that got me when I was young, and still continues to be fun for me to this day. Psychic Ward +3, that's pretty cool actually, and it's a white crystal. If I could add sockets to it, might be able to make a rune word. I don't really know what much about the new rune words they added in the Warlock update, but we'll hang on to this for now. Psychic Ward being that defensive spell we cast. Blood Boil, but it's magical, so we're not going to be using Blood Boil either. We'll hang on to that for now, though, because it sells for a lot. I'm trying to remember. I think, yeah, my mercenary has a better helmet. She has a unique helmet, so we can sell that. Sell that. Hang on to that for money. Sell that off. And that. +1 to fire skills. Yeah, we'll hang on to that for money. And we can sell that. Put this in our own personal stash. Put this into our money stash area. Once we hit Act 5 and the limit goes up to 25,000, we might just sell everything off regardless. The limit only goes up by 5,000 when you get to Nightmare, and then another 5,000 when you get to Hell, totaling 35,000. And we could use the gold earlier on for gambling. So Even if they cap out at 25,000 in Act 5, we probably will still sell everything off. And do some gambling. Gambling is fun in this game. I don't endorse gambling in real life. So you activate the Gid Bin. As you can see, it catches on fire, and then shortly after that, a monster pack summons. You kill the boss, and he drops the Gid Bin.
Relic. Almost might know what purpose it could serve.
Sounds like we might want a little bit more volume, actually. Set them to 10. Let me know in the comments if you need me to adjust the volumes. So you come around here, this pot with people in it is, or I guess cauldron, is always here in this area, along with this hut. Pretty gruesome. This game continues the trend of the first game having graphic imagery. Especially memorable was the Butcher's Broom from the first game. If you know, you know. And look at that, another set item. This is another copy of the dagger I'm currently using. Flayer Dungeon has a predictable map. The chamber exit, or the chamber entrance, where we are now, this tile, which ends right here, it exits this way, and then you'll turn your character to the left to find the stairs. It'll be in a chamber oriented to the left of the entrance. It's not this chamber. The chamber with the stairs almost always has no monsters in it. But this chamber here has the stairs. Same with the second level. You go out of the entrance chamber, and you go to the left. And the stairs are on the other side of that wall there. And then for the last level, this is the last level, so there's no stairs, of course, going down. And this map has a few different modes it can be in. Usually it's a bit of a maze. And there will be grated areas, such as this wall here with the grate, that will block you from getting to it. Thankfully, we can teleport and bypass the restricted navigation. Could be up in this top corner, but not always. The map, there's a few different maps that this Flayer Dungeon Level 3 can be. Does not look like this is actually the boss chamber. So, just the area is not super big, and if you have the teleports, some teleporting skill, it becomes exceedingly easy to navigate through. And just keep walking around. Okay, so we're coming back to where the entrance is. Looks like it's going to be in the bottom left of the map. And I should resummon my goat man. He's starting to fall off in usefulness because I'm not putting a lot of points into them. They can be very powerful if you invest skill points into them, but that's not what this playthrough is all about. Witch Doctor Ndugu here is always here. And he is just like any other shaman. He will die and then turn into a small guy, and you'll have to kill him a second time.
Overburdened.
Thankfully, since he's a super unique, he will drop 2 pieces of some sort of rare, magical, unique set item type loot. And then when you kill him again, he will drop those type of items a second time. So he's good for a few items. This is the chest. You pop it, and among other loot will be Kaleem's brain. And since we got the waypoint, we can just head back to town, take care of our loot, and head back and continue on from the waypoint.
Hello. This is most fortunate. Kaleem's brain knows Mephisto's weakness. Place it in the Horadric cube along with Kaleem's other relics. The eye, the heart, and the flail.
All right. So we'll put his brain. Oh no, did we not? Thought we had. Oh, I put it in this cube, didn't I? Yes, I did. Okay, there it is. All right, we'll put the brain in there with the eye, and then we'll go assess our loot.
You have...
Oop, I apologize. We're going to go ahead and... Oh, it went away. I think I can replay it through the quest log. Hang on just a moment. So, we'll replay that in a moment, but after you stop talking to him, he'll walk over. This is the Gidbin quest. He should walk, and I think... Did we not grab the Gidbin? We did. That's strange. He's not doing what he usually does. Let's see if we can get the dialogue to play.
You have done well, noble hero. Ormus congratulates you. The old spirits of Skatsim will watch over you for returning their sacred blade. Now, after all these years, Ormus will once again use his powers to protect the innocent from the shadow. The spell that protects the dark side shall now be reinforced.
Okay, so that's the quest dialogue. I'm not sure why he's not doing it, but he will walk over here to this statue and place the dagger within, and it will create an orb of sorts. Maybe when we finish the quest, he'll do it. Also, though, when you talk to him a second time after completing the quest, he'll give you a reward.
This magic ring does me no good. Here, wear it proudly.
And there you can see he did the thing I was talking about, reinforcing the wards that keep monsters from encroaching on the docks. He gives you a magic ring. I believe it's always rare. And here we go. +1 to maximum damage, a little bit of attack rating. Fire resist plus 26% is very substantial. And fire is one of the most important resistances. A little bit of strength. None of these stats are bad. And while I do like getting extra gold, we're not having any trouble finding gold. So we're going to replace the extra gold find ring with this one and benefit from those stats. That'll be a nice little upgrade. And we'll hang on to these for crafting purposes. All right, let's see what else we got.
Hello.
Sell that off. Not a very good belt, and we can't use it anyway. Wither String. 30% increased attack speed. Fires magic arrows. I'm not sure, but I think that converts at least part of the damage that you do with this weapon to magic damage, which can be useful. Although overall, I can't use it, and overall, I believe my Mercenary's Bow with 3 tails in it is probably going to be better. Well, almost guaranteed. +3 to dexterity. I mean, I suppose it is better than this. So we'll go ahead and replace that. Like to keep my charms all pretty and organized. There we go. Okay, so we got another copy of this dagger. I mean, the one I have is lower durability, so we'll just go ahead and put this one on and sell the other one. And ours is better. We have all resistance plus 10, which I prefer over the little bit of life and energy that gives us in the hit recovery. Don't need that. Okay. And then the quest log for the Gidbin tells us to talk to Ashira. He's the mercenary merchant here in this town.
Hello. Now that fewer of the Iron Wolves are needed to guard the dockside, some of them have volunteered to accompany you free of charge.
So, if you didn't have a mercenary, this would automatically hire you a mercenary from her free of charge, just like the Act 1 mercenary quest. However, if you have ever had a mercenary, or your mercenary, even if it's, let me start that over. If you currently have a mercenary, and even if it's dead, you will not get the mercenary free of charge. So you basically have to bypass ever getting a mercenary, even from the Act 1 quest, to actually get a free mercenary here. It is not a big deal. You can always hire mercenaries. They don't ever cost very much, and it's a one-time charge. You only have to pay again if they die. So it's not a big deal that you don't get it, but it is a funny little quirk of the game programming that doesn't allow them to overwrite your current mercenary. The game originally didn't have the ability to either revive your mercenaries or even give them equipment, which made them a lot less useful, but also made this quest reward make a bit more sense. In any case, we can now move on, having completed the Gidbin quest. And we also got the brain. Now it says that to get the Khalim's heart from the sewers in the Kuros Bazaar, which is the next area after the Flayer dungeon. No, it's the area after the next area. So we'll store our loot, and then we'll take the waypoint and head on to find the next area.
Yes?
The part of the act that most people hate, that being the hard to navigate jungle, ends after you find the exit from the Flayer jungle. You'll see what I mean when we get there. The area has become much more structured and straightforward. So we've completed that, so we'll just go ahead and use the waypoint. Okay. Depending on the orientation of the map, you want to be, well, actually, it doesn't matter what the orientation of the map is. You always want to be heading upward in this direction, either up left or up right, whatever way the river is flowing. Eventually, you will come to the next area eventually by going that direction. And funny little interesting quirk, if you find this pile of gold here, it'll be random little piles of gold. It's also always here and an indication you're about to get to the next area. And as you can see, there's a little stairway here, or sorry, not a stairway, a bridge. And you come across it, and there's a monster pack that's always here. Monster pack of Thrashers, led by Stormtree. He is always lightning enchanted. And he can be pretty dangerous, just like Rakinishu from the first act. But he did a lot of damage to me, but we were able to take him out. Grab this free gold. Also should grab some healing potions while we're here. Now we're in Lower Kurast. So these maps are all squares surrounded by jungle. And they have a series of tiles that are placed to make the square overall. One of those squares will have, or one of those tiles in the square will have the waypoint. And the entrance to the next area will be always be across from the way you entered. But it's a big square, so it'll just be somewhere along the back wall. So you can pretty much roam freely until you find a waypoint. Also of note, a lot of people do what's called Lower Kurast farming, or LK farming, LK runs. And they are revolved around this tile here with the campfire and the torches. These huts, this one here, and this one here. The chests have a high chance of being super chests. So they have pretty decent drops most of the time. As you can see, that one was, and dropped some runes. Especially in Hell difficulty, these are a pretty safe way to try and farm for high runes, which are always sought after. They're still not common by any stretch, but they are a relatively safe way, because all you have to do, find the waypoint, come to the campfire, check the chests, save and exit, come back in. Easy as that. All right, so this is the waypoint. Now that I've found the waypoint, there's no actual quests related to the Lower Kurast area. So we'll just go ahead and look for the next area. All right, so here's the exit from this area into the next area. The Kurast Bazaar. Now, the quest that is related to this area is a bit buggy in that it is hard to find or to trigger the quest. Honestly, to this day, I'm not sure how you actually trigger it, but thankfully, you can complete it without having triggered it first. All you have to do is find a certain temple in this area, and I'll show you what it looks like when we get to it. All right, so this is the temple we're looking for. It will be pointed the steps will be pointed this way, from bottom left to upper right. And you'll find this stair interactable. Press it, and it'll open up, and you can go down into the ruined temple. You'll find flesh hunters, including a boss pack of flesh hunters that are always here. There will usually be some other boss monsters as well, like that guy. Ooh, unique brandy stock. Check these out. Okay, sell that. Don't need that. All right, before we get to the boss pack, let's go ahead and empty out our inventory.
Hello. Yes?
All right, we'll save that to sell. All right, Blood Thief. This is an overall pretty good weapon early in the game, especially for Act 2 mercenaries. And we may pick one up. Act 2 mercenaries have the distinction of being capable of having auras. There are 6 different kinds, and in normal difficulty, you get access to 3 of them. We might check that out since we did find this weapon. It's pretty good. Open Wounds is basically a bleeding effect that deals damage kind of like poison, but it is damage it deals is based on your own level rather than any static numbers. Life Leech is always good for a mercenary to have to keep them alive. So this is a pretty good weapon for a mercenary early on. And while my mercenary does a lot of damage, it might be nice to have the auras because I already do a pretty good amount of damage. These gloves are pretty cool, but I don't really need them. We'll save that to sell. 1 to defensive auras. Now that's not terrible. Although the one you usually want is either offensive auras or combat skills for Paladin. Still a pretty cool little find. All right, let's see. So we'll store this for now. And we'll put these in the appropriate tabs. All right. We'll finish the Ruined Temple, then we'll consider whether we want to change mercenaries. So you come through here, and this map can take a few different forms, but in this map, version of the map, come through these doors, or these archways, and the pack of Flesh Hunters that's always here will spawn. Battlemaid Serena is the boss monster that's always here, guarding the quest item. And look at that, another unique full arm. There'll also be a decent amount of loot. There are 5 other temples that are similar to this in this area and the next area, and the area after that. And they can be good for farming experience if you need it. So, this here is the quest part, Lamb Essence Tome. Pick it up. And the quest will appear in your log if you pick it up. Tells you to talk to Alcor, who's the alchemist. We'll get to that when we get back to town. And let's go ahead and look for the waypoint, and then we'll use that to head back to town and go from there. Bugs. Lots of bugs. How my dagger slashing through a swarm of bugs is supposed to hurt them, I'm not sure, but take it. Level 24. We will take a look at that once we get back to town as well. So this is another such temple. If you want, you can pop in there, get some experience, get some loot. Another set item. This is the set weapon for the Berserker set. Mostly geared toward barbarians. It is not a very strong set. Also, we need to go to the sewers, and there are entrances to the sewers here in the Kurost Bazaar, and also in the next area. We'll find the waypoint first. There we go. There's the waypoint. We'll head back, and then once we get back, we will head into the sewers.
Good day. Greetings.
All right, so we got Dim Oak's Hue here. It can be used at a pretty early level, and at that early level, it can be pretty good. That being said, it is not particularly amazing once you get past those low levels. Radiant defense is nothing. Lightning rise for 5%. That's probably better than this 1 to 2 fire damage one, so we'll go ahead and put that in. We can sell that. And that. And as I said before, Berserker's weapon. And it's not the worst thing in the world, but the low-level set gets outclassed pretty quick, even with just a weapon with some runes or gems in it. And we got the quest item, Lamb Essence Tome. All right, so we'll put away the unique item and the set item and these. Put away these junk rings, and then we'll go talk to Elcor. So, as soon as I touch him, I will talk to him. I will get the reward, and he'll give us a little blurb about it.
Found the book. It should give all of us here some insight into the nature of the prime evils. But as for you...
The quest reward.
So, Lamb Essen discovered a way to possess the body of a demon. Interesting.
Is 5 extra stat points. We'll go ahead and put 2 points into here, into Vitality. Okay, so now we're at level 24. We can grab Sigil Death. So, much like Sigil Lethargy, it places a circle on the ground. Any monsters within it will automatically die once they hit 13% or less health, and they'll explode, doing 70 to 120% of their health. And that explosion gets bigger with more points than Sigil Death. It is quite a good AoE type of attack. Combine that with our cleave, and this should be really, really good. So we'll go ahead and put a point in that. And we're going to go ahead and assign that to Right Bumper instead of Sigil Lethargy for now. We will still use Lethargy probably on bosses. In fact, I will apply that to Y for now. Because this doesn't really work on bosses. The effect doesn't do anything to bosses, and it only hurts bosses if other enemies are around him and hit 13% or less life. And most bosses, you want to fight them on your own anyway, on their own anyway. Okay, and then Eldritch Blast. I think this is a pre-buff, so we'll grab that. And then Hex Siphon. This would be good if we need some life regeneration. We'll grab those. And this is a kind of a pre-buff skill, so I'll go ahead and put that on Y. Left bumper Y. Okay. So, head back to the Kuros Bazaar. That blast coming out from us is the Eldritch Blast. Looks like it does extra damage and also gives me life steal and mana steal to the enemies around me. Oh, I almost forgot. I did apply one new mod to play around with and try. It basically increases the duration of all buff type skills to basically last super long time. Otherwise, it's more of a tedium to just reapply the skills. I don't need to use it, but I thought it might be fun to try. Let me know in the comments if you like the idea of me adding some mods as we go along, or if you'd like it to stay the way it was. But for now, we're going to try it out. Okay. Down into the sewers we go. This map is a bit of a maze, but it is, once again, made easier, as many maps are, by having a skill that lets us teleport. Now, we can't teleport over walls with this character. Not with his teleport skill, anyway. But we can teleport over the sewer waterways. You can only imagine it probably stinks down here. Giant sewer-dwelling bugs. Those are probably not too pleasant. There's not really a trick to finding stairs, per se, except that if you find the treasure chest on level 1, you can use that to orient yourself toward the exit to some degree. But I never really rely on that because this map is always a bit odd and hard to read. In any case, just explore until you find it. Not a big deal, especially if you have a skill that lets you teleport. Keeping in mind, if you're having trouble finding it, there are multiple entrances to the sewers, so maybe a fresh start could help. If we find the monster Icehawk Riftwing, we know we're in the right place. Him and his minions always guard the entrance to sewers level 2. So, funny enough, we actually found the treasure chest. Grab the town portal. Okay. So I believe it's to the left in orientation from the chest. Although, once again, this map tends to wrap around, and it will likely kind of... another set item. It'll wrap... as you can see, you can't even go left from the treasure chest from here. It will still be oriented like it is enterable through a path from the left of the chest, but it will not actually be to the left. I know that doesn't maybe doesn't make a lot of sense, but at some point I will likely do a video on map orientations and how to navigate faster. And hopefully I can find a way to explain it better. Okay. Like our weapon is getting low on durability. That's okay. We'll just keep going for a little bit unless it wears out, and then we'll go back and repair it. It's usually, the next area is usually along the outer walls, but not always. This one, like I said before, can be a little tricky. Okay. And as you can see, there's another entrance down to here from Upper Kuros, the next area on the overworld. All right, and we have found Icehawk Riftwing. He's that teal bat over there. He always has teleportation and cold enchanted. And because he's here, we know that the stairs are here. You hit the interactable here, and the stairs appear, and you go down to level 2. A very small map, always the same. There's a small pool of water in the middle, and these Watcher guys will always spawn, but they won't always appear. Sometimes they'll just stay hidden in the water the whole time. Their poison can do quite a bit of damage, so it's better to just take them out as soon as you can, so as to avoid that. Poison can be really annoying. You can never die from poison, but your mercenary can, and so can your minions. And you can be brought down all the way to 1 HP with poison. And, of course, that puts you on death's door. Liam's Heart, the last of the 3 organs. Occasionally there will be other monsters besides the Water Watchers, but they didn't spawn this time. There's lots of little chests, sometimes a shrine. And sometimes these chests can be super chests even. But we've gotten what we came for. So we can leave the dark, dank, stinky sewers.
Good morning. You have
Oh, I apologize. I will play that.
never forget that your ultimate purpose here in Kuros.
Oh, we saw that one already. I apologize. I'm in the habit of bypassing dialogue. Essentially, he says the same thing that he says about the other 2 pieces, put them in the cube with the other 3, or sorry, the other 3 pieces, put them all in the cube together, and we'll get what we need.
Good morning.
Good morning. Let's shoot a bone spear. Pretty good on a necromancer if you're playing bone skills. A white shield means you could, I say shield, these take up the shield slot for a necromancer only. And bone spear is usually the main damage dealer for a bone-based necromancer. In any event, we're going to save it because it sells for 15,000. We might just save it, though. We can sell. So Eisenhart's case is the armor for the Eisenhart set. All right, we'll store this and this and put this in with the set items, or gems and etc. away. Before we do that, though, let's head over to Haratli to get our gear repaired. He's so out of the way that I tend to forget to repair my gear in Act 3. Until I get a notice that it's low on durability. All right. For now, we're going to put this in here. We might not save it for later. We'll see. Okay, so we have all 3 organs. Now all we need is the flail. And getting the flail also requires us to complete at least part of the next quest, which we will get to once we get into the correct area. We're pretty close. We just need to go through Kurast Bazaar to Upper Kurast, and then through Upper Kurast to Gravid Call. So we'll head straight for Upper Kurast, which once again, from Kurast Bazaar, you entered from the bottom left, you leave from the top right. It'll be along this river, but the exit, but you can actually use a teleport skill to get across automatically and not have to find the entrance. Okay. And again, you don't have to fight all monsters. If you want to move the story along, mostly just focus on boss packs or experience. So as you can see, Upper Kurast also has some of these temples. Although this is not a temple. Well, it's a temple, but it doesn't have a stairway entrance. It's just a little bit of a loot area. But if you